At 83 years old, I sold a second house I barely used, let go of my old car, and bought a one-way ticket to Asia. I kept my main home, the kids nearby, but I knew something had to change. I wasn't running away. I was chasing a life I'd spent decades postponing. People said I was too old. Some asked what I was escaping from, as if adventure past 80 required an explanation. Truth is, I wasn't escaping anything. I was running out of time. I'd watched too many people my age spend their final years waiting for their health to improve, waiting for something to happen. I didn't want to wait anymore. I landed in Bangkok first. The air was thick with heat, smells of street food, exhaust, incense, and the sharp tang of tropical fruit. Motorbikes weaved around tuk-tuks like water currents. The city pulsed in a way I hadn't felt in years. I just walked at first, letting the streets speak to me. Rice stalls, sizzling fish, papaya and mango carts. Every morning was a sensory overload. I tasted things I didn't even know existed, learned to cook a few simple dishes myself, and discovered that lemongrass smells even more alive when it's in the sun. I stayed in a small neighborhood apartment 2 blocks from a morning market. I watched vendors arrange their produce, deep green herbs, piles of chili peppers, glistening fish, and felt how cheap, simple, and healthy life could be. Back home, good ingredients were expensive and rare. Here, it was normal. I could eat fresh fish, rice, and vegetables for a fraction of what I spent on a single meal in the States. And the food wasn't just cheaper, it was better, fresher, more vibrant, cooked the same day. The first weeks, I wandered endlessly. I discovered coffee shops tucked into alleys, learned to say good morning in Thai, and watched children in school uniforms sprint down streets, their laughter echoing against concrete walls. I sat on plastic stools and ate noodle soup for breakfast, something I'd have found strange a year before. I realized I had forgotten how much small, ordinary things could make me feel alive. I met people slowly, a vendor who remembered my name, a taxi driver with stories about his grandchildren, an old man playing chess on the curb who gestured for me to try. I didn't need to impress anyone. I just existed. I walked miles every day to see the sunrise, to buy groceries, to explore alleys full of markets and cafes. My body ached at first, but slowly I felt lighter. My appetite came back. I slept deeply for the first time in years. Some days I joined cooking classes, a small wok, fresh herbs, fish sauce, chili, garlic. The smells hit me like a wake-up call. I chopped, stirred, tasted, adjusted, and laughed at how clumsy I was. I realized that cooking, something I had always rushed through at home, could be meditative, joyful, even spiritual. Food here wasn't fuel, it was culture, connection, craft. Vietnam was next. Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh, and the small towns along the Mekong. Renting small apartments for months at a time, I discovered street food culture at its finest. Pho in the morning, fresh spring rolls at noon, sticky rice with mango at night. Simple, clean, alive. I learned the rhythm of life there. Wake early, walk, eat, watch the river, notice the small things. Life moved slowly in those towns, as if time itself understood that rushing was a waste. I laughed more than I had in decades. I got lost on motorbikes, haggled at markets with wild gestures and broken phrases, tried local coffee that could strip enamel from teeth but tasted divine. I watched the sunrise over rice paddies and felt time stretch. For the first time, I wasn't measuring life by responsibilities, bills, or productivity. I was measuring it by presence. Each morning I had a ritual. Walk before sunrise, when the streets belong to the monks and the old people who understand the value of early hours. Buy fresh ingredients. Brew coffee strong enough to wake the dead. Sit by the open window, listening to the city wake up. I noticed details I had ignored for decades. How sunlight reflects off metal rooftops. How street dogs stretch lazily in the warmth. How women carry baskets of fruit balanced perfectly on their heads. These were small things, but they felt profound. On rainy days, I'd sit in a cafe with the smell of wet concrete outside and drink sweet Thai iced coffee while reading a worn paperback. I thought about all the mornings I'd wasted sitting in traffic, worrying about things that hadn't mattered. Here, the internal noise was gone, the constant hum of obligation and habit. I could hear myself think, really think, for the first time in decades. I made a habit of writing short notes each evening, observations, ideas, little gratitude lists. The more I wrote, the more I realized how little attention I'd paid to the ordinary moments that actually mattered. I had forgotten to read the page I was on. 2 years passed like this, not in a blur, but in a rich, deliberate unfolding. I returned briefly to the U.S., and I realized America hadn't changed. I had. The food felt duller, the air heavier. People asked if I was settling back in. I smiled and said, "Not yet." Life is bigger than one place. Comfort is not the same as living. I left the things that weighed me down and embraced what I had long denied myself: curiosity, freedom, small daily wonders. I met other expats along the way, retirees from Europe, young travelers from Canada, students from Australia. I realized my age didn't matter. Curiosity and courage do. I walked into a small temple in Hanoi one morning, removed my shoes, and sat silently on the wooden floor. The monks chanted, children ran past, the scent of incense hung heavy. I hadn't felt that still in decades. This is why we travel, not for the sights, not for the photos, but for feeling fully alive. Sometimes I took a boat down a small canal, children shouting hello from the banks and collapsing into giggles when I waved back. These little interactions made me feel human, connected, alive. At 83, I wake early. I walk. I explore. I laugh at small mistakes, talk to strangers, notice sunrises. I keep my family close in my heart. I didn't need to prove anything. I needed presence. Sometimes leaving isn't running away. Sometimes it's running toward the life you've been dreaming of all along. I'm Walter, 83 years old. My heart beats strong, my mind sharp, and for the first time in decades, I feel free. Life didn't stop when I retired. Life started when I decided to live it.